Do 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 do. This is just another Kirblog, but it's different. Do 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 do. Not like any other Kirblog about peanuts, because I've never done one about the peanuts, but now I am. I just came up with that about 5 seconds ago.
You kind of just trailed off. There was a point where it sounded exactly like the song. Then you went on this weird, long tangent that just doesn't stop.
This is welcome to Kirblog. Not just you listening out there, but to my humble guest that I'm touching inappropriately on the shoulder right now, and he's frowning about
I'm making a Kermit the Frog frown.
More like the angry video game nerd.
The felt on my neck is wrinkled.
Upside down you mouth. That it fucking sucks.
Shit.
Please, as this is the first time you've been on, why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm Mike Ruocco.
Yes.
I'm an animator in Burbank.
Yes.
And me and our friend Andrew Dickman, do a podcast called Animated Anarchy.
Yes. I was going to get to that, but you're just jumping right in. I was more expecting you to talk about all the
I'm going to spend the next 30 minutes.
You worked on.
Well, I worked on BoJack Horseman. I've worked on Wabbit, most recently the first season. It's really fun.
Yes.
And
back in the day, you worked on other stuff also.
Yeah, but I don't like to bring those up.
Fair enough. Also, now I'm going to embarrass you. Those of you who have seen the Nintendo collabs on Newgrounds back in the day, Michael also animated most of the retro game ones. You did the Ice Climber segment.
I'm still surprised that I was able to pull off the Game & Watch one.
The Game & Watch one, that's right. The Rob One Duck Hunt, which was one of my favorites.
But those are my first time ever really animating in Flash.
Yeah, and now look at you.
Look at me.
It's your bread and butter.
Now I am the king and queen of Flash.
Of Flash friends.
Yeah.
Good. I did it. We're on a roll. So we went to go see the Peanuts movie.
On last Friday.
Yeah, well, this is going to be coming out on Saturday, the whatever day that is.
Last Friday.
Yeah, so 2 Fridays ago, we went to go see the Peanuts movie with a whole bunch of friends, and it was wonderful.
Yes.
And now I'm going to talk about Animated Anarchy. Michael and Andrew Dickman do a podcast called Animated Anarchy, where they review movies, mostly shitty ones.
We try to mix it up.
You try to, but it's mostly shitty movies. Such as... what was the fish one?
Well, Help I'm a Fish was actually really good.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay. Well, then I'm wrong.
But we did Rover Dangerfield and Jungle Book 2, and we just recently did Black Cauldron.
Okay. So crappy movies.
Right.
I'm really selling this. Well, either way, it's very entertaining, and if you want to hear 2 animation professionals talking about animated movies that may or may not suck, I apologize. Go check them out. I will have a link to their stuff. Do you guys host them on YouTube at all? Any of the episodes?
Andrew just started putting them up on YouTube. And the funniest thing is, we just put up our first movie that we did. I guess it's further in the fact that we've done bad ones. First one we did was B Movie.
That's right. That's
funny.
right.
And before we continue, I just have a really funny story to tell. So Andrew was like, I'm going to start putting them up on YouTube. I'm like, that's really cool, dude. And he's like, well, I need images for a slideshow, because I can't just show our picture and the logo of the podcast on there. We should probably get some screen caps of the movie and play them. He's like, where should I find them? So we found a website that has high-res screen caps of Disney movies and DreamWorks movies and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So we found B Movie, and the thing about whoever did these is that they're high-res. If you open them, they blow up. They could fill up your whole screen 2 times fold.
You see every pore on Jerry Seinfeld B's
face. And the great thing is, I guess, the program that the person used, they take a screen cap of the movie every 3 seconds. So you end up with a lot of really bad motion blur, really bad in-between frames. So we just found the most out-of-context weird frames. And if you go on YouTube and find the B Movie Animated Anarchy episode and just watch or listen to the show, but then if you go back and look at the slideshow, you'll find this just a creepy CG Ray Liotta looking directly at the camera with a toothy grin mouth.
B Movie is horrifying.
Yeah, it's pretty horrifying, especially up close in HD. In fact, that now that everyone has HD TVs and you watch it, and you're like, oh my god, that looks so ugly, even in an ultra real detail. you could see like pixels on the edges of people's eyelashes.
They're hosted on Andrew's YouTube channel, right?
They're on Andrew's YouTube
okay,
channel.
So I'll have a link to that in a connotation somewhere in the description as well. So if you want to go look at awful weird screen caps of B-movie and also listen to two animation professionals talking about various animated movies, go check that out because you guys just did an episode about the Peanuts movie on your podcast. So I don't want to make you repeat an hour's worth of information.
What happened was Chris, this isn't true. Chris heard it and was like, "You guys, that was great. Can you
actually talk about the movie?
Can you do it? Could you do that again, but on my channel?" And so I was like, "Okay." And
I didn't even realize that you were already doing the episode.
Yeah, because you asked me to do it, and I was like
the day he was coming over.
It was literally the day I was going to go over to Andrew's to record, and Chris messages me and says, "Hey, you want to pop on one of my Kirblogs and we can talk about the Peanuts movie?" And I'm like, I'm just about to record a show about the Peanuts movie.
And this is 3 days after that, not even, I think.
Not even.
So now you're talking about it again.
It was within like a day and a half of us seeing the movie, and then he messaged me, and I'm literally going to be packing up my bags to go up to, not my bags, but packing up my stuff to go up to Andrew's place, which is like far enough away that I got to pack a bag, and then we recorded the show and posted it, so it's on there, so you can listen to it after you listen to this.
Yes, please go check that out. But in the meantime, now that we're 6 minutes in, you haven't talked about the movie yet.
Oh, no wonder that guy gave us a bad review.
Yes.
We barely even got to the subject. When are they going to talk about? When are they going to get to the fireworks factory?
15 minutes in, they're not even talking about the fucking movie yet.
Shit.
And now his 6 minutes. You can curse. I don't fucking care.
I'm sorry. I try not to curse so much.
So first of all, let's continue to not talk about the movie yet. What is your experience growing up with Peanuts in general?
I was raised on Charlie Brown and Snoopy. I said it on the podcast, but me and my older sister would watch it every Christmas. We'd watch the Charlie Brown Christmas. Mm-hmm. We'd watch the Halloween special. We'd watch the Thanksgiving special, which was my favorite. Easter Beagle, all that stuff. And then I loved the comics. Ever since I was a kid, it was probably my first drawing inspiration was Peanuts. Then I had the books, I had the comics, I had the movies. Mm-hmm. Watch them all the time, and I'm a huge Charlie Brown fan. And they did this movie, which I had a little trepidation with at first, because when I first heard about it, I'm like, really, CG with Peanuts, really? And then I'm so glad that my expectations were completely blown.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I saw just in the trailers alone for the movie, I was like, I am going to run to this theater. I mean, mm-hmm. Yeah.
I guess we're skipping ahead a little bit, but I mean, like. Yeah, you've been excited for this movie. You said for like, a year and a half you were
about a year and a half, even close to, actually almost 2 years this month.
Yeah, and I remember when I saw the first trailer, I was like, I'm seeing this day one. I don't even care. Like, because what I was going to say regarding my stuff, I wasn't like a huge, like, hardcore Peanuts fan, but I did grow up with, like, generally all the same kind of stuff. Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon would play the holiday specials. I've seen most of the movies, except for Bon Voyage, Charlie Brown, which I'm going to watch because I've always wanted to see that one, weirdly. But I do love the characters. It's when you grow up in America, they're just like kind of part of your culture. So I know all the characters, and I'm into it enough as just a general consumer. But weirdly, as someone who wasn't like a really hardcore fan of the comics or the show or any of the movies or anything, when that first trailer came out. And I think we were even a little still like, oh, they got like the pop songs or whatever in there. I was still just like, I want to see this. This something about this. I have a really, really good feeling that this is going to be good. And yeah, it more than blew away expectations. This was a fantastic movie.
Yeah, it's great.
Like,
I think the great thing about it is that, first of all, it's faithful to the original source material
entirely. Yeah.
And it's great for people who have loved and were raised on Peanuts, and also it's good for people who have probably never ever. I would say if you have never ever seen a Peanuts special or movie,
cartoon of any kind,
or even the comic,
yeah.
And if you just went to this movie, I think kids would enjoy it.
Oh, completely. Yeah, it's super. It's just, it gets down to the basic idea of what it is. It's a super relatable, kind of pessimistic, but in like still a very relatable way. Like,
well, it's not even pessimistic. It's more realist. It's more like, well, Charlie Brown is a loser, and everybody. I mean, these children, they're probably anywhere between 8 and 10 years old.
Yeah.
They're,
or younger.
They're
maybe
a little too wise beyond their years. And they all, I think, need to lose weight because they all have the same body type. I mean, Scott Pilgrim, maybe, like, everybody's, some people, they say they have same face. No one ever complains that Peanuts characters have the same body syndrome. Peppermint Patty has the same exact body as Charlie Brown, who has the same exact body as Sally. That's kind of creepy when you think about it.
Well, Sally's supposed to be younger, too, isn't she?
Yeah, they all have the same, they're pretty much just triangles.
It's a little weird, but... So to start off with, one of the things I was very excited about this movie for when it was getting very close to coming out is pretty much unlike, as far as I can think of, any other animated movie in theaters right now, or just that's been in theaters for maybe even ever, as far as I know. No celebrities, no stupid marketing gimmicks. Like, they had the Target commercial or whatever, but it's like, whatever. You know, at worst it has the couple pop songs in there, but I didn't really find them intrusive. They weren't like, oh, this is totally taking me. It wasn't like in Wreck-It Ralph, which I love Wreck-It Ralph to death, but
that's the only scene in the movie
Shut Up and Drive
that I think is the stupidest part.
The Shut Up and Drive thing. It's like, oh, don't do that. This movie has a couple songs in there, but it's not like Rihanna for one thing.
Yeah,
it's like when they have the Bumbalea for that, which is just a gag.
Yeah.
And then that other, I can't remember what it's called.
What I like about you.
Is that in it?
It's in it, but but the thing is, with this movie, they keep the music kind of, the music takes a backseat.
Yeah, it's not like obnoxious, so it doesn't interfere with it.
I spent an hour and a half with Andrew just gushing about the movie, and for me, there's so many things about that movie. The fact that they use the original Vince Guaraldi recordings for some of the audio tracks. The fact that they use Bill Melendez's archival recordings for Snoopy and stuff.
Yeah, and they still hold up. They're cute. They're funny.
The fact that they shot the dogfight scene and they never, ever, ever, ever show the bottom of Snoopy's doghouse. I think that is like, they filmed, because I love dogfights. The idea of an old World War I dogfight is still appealing to me, probably because of Peanuts.
Yeah.
But then seeing that dogfight, and it feels like a true like a great movie dogfight scene.
Yeah.
And you don't see the bottom of the doghouse.
And you also still don't see the Red Baron.
Never
once.
Yeah, but if you go online, you could find the picture of a Red Baron somewhere.
I do want to keep it like relatively spoiler free, but I want anybody listening to this who hasn't seen it to absolutely go see it, because you will thank me. We'll get into the further nitty gritty of it. I also wanted to say at this stage too. Everybody knows I'm a giant nerd for voiceover stuff, but even people I know who like don't know like shit or care about anything to do with voice performers, the voice performances in this movie have been like a highlight for everybody I've talked to about it so far. The kids that they got, I don't even know how many, like 12 to 15 different kid actors, so good. So adorable, so real.
And they match the original voices of the...
Completely.
Whoever was in charge of casting...
Get a fucking medal.
If they have a casting director award, give it to her him, because it was absolutely brilliant how well that movie was cast.
And again, like other than I think one of them, who I won't spoil, but one of them I think is like you were saying, one of the kids who does like the Disney special TV kind of stuff. She's
probably on one of those like Disney Channel sitcom shows.
Yeah, and that's fine. But
other than
I can live with that.
Names are. I mean, if you go to their Wikipedia, or any of their places, like their names are red. Like they're in red, which means that there is no Wikipedia page for them. They're just even unknowns. They're new kids.
Or on IMDb, they have like maybe like one or two other like minor like commercials or things like that or whatever.
Because usually kids like that would be like, they would have done beforehand maybe like a Welch's grape juice commercial or something like that.
I mean, they might have, for all we know, but yeah, no, they're all fantastic. Like they really painted this world with like the realism that it needed, because every single Peanuts animated thing, it's always been kid actors every single time. Yeah. And obviously they've been through like multiple every single. It's like with every Sonic character has had at least like 3 different actors that have performed him. Every Peanuts character has had at least like 5. I think
there's like 5 or 6 voices for Charlie Brown.
Yeah, just him alone. Yeah.
And some kids would get too old playing one, so they'd just put him on another character.
I would bet like maybe Sally's actress like would then go on to play like, I don't know, like Lucy or Marcy or something.
Patty
yeah. Or something. Which, by the way, Peppermint Patty's kid in this movie was my favorite. She was so funny.
I thought whoever did Sally was just the voice.
Oh, her
was
too.
So adorable.
Yeah, she got like Sally, Charlie Brown's little brother, has a lot of like
Sister.
really.
Wow.
Jesus Christ, little sister. Sorry.
A very forward-thinking
yes,
little brother.
Yes. She had a lot of like really funny like I don't want to say like fourth wall breaking moments, but like she was the most like out there kind of character I feel like in the whole movie.
Well, the thing is, it's common for her because the thing is she's a young girl, but she's kind of not wise beyond her years, but
very
she's
enterprising.
Yeah, she's very, like I remember one of my favorite moments in any of the Peanut specials is in the Christmas special. She asks Charlie Brown, "Big brother, can you help me write a letter to Santa?" And he goes, "Sure." And she's like, what did she say? She said something along the lines of like, "I don't want presents this year. I just want cash, preferably in tens and 20s. Preferably in tens and 20s." And Charlie Brown's like, "Tens and 20s? Oh!" And he runs away. And she's like, "I just wanted my fair share."
I just remember
What's the matter?
That. Oh my god! What was that? Was that one of the movies?
It was
in
the Christmas special.
That's right. That's right. Because on that, they didn't have that in there, but on that same note, this movie had like so many like references to a lot of like the classic like things about all the Charlie Brown specials. I mean, this isn't spoiler territory, but they had like no dogs allowed like mixed in there. They had a lot of the catchphrases like Peppermint Patty referring to
Chuck.
Yes, that, and also Snoopy's persona Joe Cool or whatever.
Who's the kid with the big nose?
That cool kid with the big nose. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's right.
That was the one. That was the one complaint that I heard about. One of the few complaints I heard about the movie was someone said, "You broke the illusion. Peppermint Patty always thought that Snoopy was a person, not a dog."
Did she refer to him
earlier
as
in the movie?
Dog?
She's like, your dog is weird, Charlie Brown." Like she said something like that.
Yeah.
But I guess in this movie, it doesn't bother me at all. In this movie, it's the fact that he is disguised as Joe Cool.
Yeah.
He puts on many disguises. Normally, Snoopy. So she's so dim-witted that she just thinks that Snoopy in disguise. He's not even wearing disguise. He's always wearing his sunglasses and a shirt that say Joe Cool on it. She's like, "Who's the kid with the big nose?"
Yeah.
Which is really, it's funny because it really explains. And also, I mean, you see Peppermint Patty. She falls asleep in class. She gets the names of books wrong.
Yeah.
Like
that's a great. I want that gag needs to just, you have to see.
I don't even know that specific gag. You'll see it when you'll hear it and look and see it when you see the movie. If you do, we recommend.
Please go see it, seriously.
Please, I want this movie to make bank so they can make more movies.
Oh, we'll get to that for sure.
But hopefully not like another Garfield movie.
But
they I don't even remember that gag, that the book name gag or the author gag.
Yeah.
Being in any of the comics or.
It was just funny. It was so perfect for her character because she is that like I play sports. I'm not book smart kind of character.
Yeah.
What we're saying is Peppermint Patty needs to star in the next one.
Yeah.
it's the fact.
I love how they just sort of they had, there was a very good mix between centering the movie on Charlie Brown and then going into and Snoopy's story or his whatever he does in the movie almost plays alongside and intertwines with Charlie Brown's. And the thing is, I had trepidation going into this movie because Blue Sky, who did the movie, they don't really have a very good track record in terms of decent storytelling in their movies, except maybe since the first Ice Age.
The first Ice Age,
and that was like almost 15 years ago.
Yeah. I know like some people that do like Rio. I haven't seen it, so I can't.
Yeah, I know a bunch of people that like Rio. I think it's okay.
Mostly John and Nicole.
Yeah,
because they love birds.
But there's things. I mean, the movies are sometimes hit and miss, and they're very episodic in nature. Even something that's supposed to be like a very linear story, there's always little set piece moments. But in Peanuts, it kind of works because it's always fun to kind of like. You see what Charlie Brown is up to, then you go see what Sally is up to with Linus, and then you go see what Schroeder and Lucy are doing, or Peppermint Patty and Marcy, or Snoopy, and you cut around, and I feel like each character, even Franklin, who's such a token, really, and I don't mean this in a bad way, he is really the token.
He is what Token Black from South Park basically comes from.
Right, and pretty much he is given some good he's given lines, he's actually given decent screen time on screen. Everybody, I think, gets their fair share. Even characters that have never been used in like 20 or 30 years, because like there's Patty and Violet from the they were from the
which I had to remind Steve Yurko, who went with us, that Patty and Peppermint Patty were separate characters, because I remembered, I don't know what special or episode or movie it was or whatever, but there's some shot where it's like Patty and Peppermint Patty and they're being called on for roll call. and Patty's all like pleasant and nice, and she's like, Patty, present, Peppermint Patty, yo, and I'm like, that's like just the juxtaposition between them. But
and they use like, and then Shermie, who at one point I think he's dressed as a mime.
Oh, yeah.
Because Shermie has like no personality anymore now that characters like Peppermint Patty and Franklin and Schroeder are really in it.
Yeah.
So it's really funny how they handle, and really nice that they handle all these characters.
I guess to kind of paint a little bit of a picture too, because you were implying before. If you guys don't even know like what the deal is with the movie, basically it takes place over the span of about a full school year.
But it centers mostly during the winter time.
For the most part.
And then it goes into like the spring months.
Yeah. But it's like days in the life of mostly Charlie Brown, but like all of his class and everything. And what you're talking about with Snoopy is that he's writing a story, and we see, I mean, because if you've seen the trailers, you've seen like, you know, the girl dog character Fifi, and you know, the dog fights and all that. So basically his whole like what he's imagining this grand story that he's telling, which I think is it Lucy who's doing the narration, because she was reading it, I think, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and yeah, his story is basically sort of not quite paralleling, but it's like it's inspired by the things that are happening in the real world.
Snoopy is seeing what Charlie Brown is doing, or what's going on with Charlie Brown, and he gets inspired, and then he goes over his typewriter and writes the next chapter of his story, which I think is really, really cute, how they kind of combine all those things together into one. And, you know, they integrate Woodstock and the little bird scouts.
Yeah.
Which are his little, in the comics, Snoopy is sometimes like a scout leader, and he has a bunch Woodstock and the bird scouts, and they all go on little adventures.
And they've been in the shows and movies and stuff.
They've been in the shows,
and
I think, and not in the movies per se, but I know they've been in the comics and some of the shows.
Mm-hmm.
But
just lots of great references to like all the classic stuff. Yeah.
And there are sequences. There's a few of them, like 3 or 4 in this movie, where there are little sequences of 2D animation.
Mm-hmm.
And B.J. Crawford, who animated those, it's hands down. And I was raised on the specials. The specials look nothing like Charles Schultz's drawings at all. Mm. It's the most on model, beautifully done animation, 2D animation of those characters ever done.
Of the Peanuts and anything.
In the last 65 years that the strip's been around, there's people. There've been many times that they've been animated before. Mm-hmm. It's B.J. Crawford has literally made Charles Schultz's drawings come alive. He even replicated the squiggly Charles Schultz line. Yeah. Which is like
it's kind of Ed Nettie-esque with like the sort of squiggle vision line art and all that.
Yeah, but the thing is, it doesn't.
It's not super jittery, but like it has like breadth to it.
But the thing is about Charles Schultz's line is that it's so specifically to replicate something that it was in his hand, because he was getting older and his hands were getting shaky. Yeah. It almost became mechanical, and it's almost perfect. If you look at an image of Charlie Brown or Snoopy, and it has that shaky line outside, it was done later, like the last 20 years of his life. Yeah. It looks almost intentionally done, mm-hmm. but it's just because of his limitations of how he can draw. Yeah. And to replicate that so spot on. Yeah.
No, major, and that was one guy. It was one animator who did all that. Guy, yeah. Like he give him a fucking award.
BJ, I hope he gets. I hope they. I mean, if they don't give I mean, it's weird. Me and Andrew are probably gonna discuss this at one point, but we're probably gonna look back at all the movies we saw, animated movies we saw this year, and decide, because it's so weird. I can't believe it. Oscar season's going to be coming up again in like 3 months. It feels just like yesterday it was Oscar season. Yeah. So like I'm already in my head like I want Peanuts movie to win, because I have I'm biased. I love Peanuts, mm-hmm. but I do feel that like Inside Out is a better movie.
Probably, but not to like this movie's fault at all. Like it's a very different movie. Right. But at the same time, it's also still very like okay, Inside Out was incredibly. It was very deep, but still very, very uplifting. It had a great positive message. And this movie is, I maybe not quite as deep, but like it's so real. It's so genuine. It's very genuine. It's so relatable, and it is uplifting. Despite because Steve, hi Steve, we're referencing you a lot in this episode. Steve Yurko described like the Charlie Brown kind of like loser personality as like it is like an air of pessimism, and he was kind of worried like, I hope that this doesn't like take that away and make it too like everything works out or whatever. And that's not to like spoil the whole crux of the movie or whatever, but it's like it keeps that. it's still uplifting while not being like, and everybody gets what they want and everything's great and blah blah fucking blah.
And then the music starts, get up off of that thing, and they have a dance party at the end.
No, thank God not. On the note of you're talking about BJ, animation in general for the movie was spectacular.
Brilliant. I mean, the fact that I read somewhere that originally I thought, oh, Peanuts movie, we'll be animating on 2s and 3s, we won't be doing full-blown animation. This will be easy. It's fucking difficult as hell to replicate that specific, because you can only show Charlie Brown and Snoopy and all those characters from really only 3 or 4 angles.
Yeah.
You can't really do a middle drawing, because then it doesn't really look like his work. Mm-hmm. And it's really kind of brilliant how well... Because I think Blue Sky has the best CG animators hands down of any studio in the country.
Animation-wise, yes, definitely. Yeah.
For have these people who can do the most beautiful... And right before the movie, they played a scratch short, which shows which was a pretty... There's some pretty decent gags in it. Yeah. Really great animation in it. But that kind of animation is what they're best known for. Is this great, rubbery, organic, almost Looney Tunes-esque.
Yeah, animation. I was gonna say they're kind of like the theater's modern day like Warner Brothers animation, if anything. Yeah. It's like they don't really do that.
I made a comparison where like Pixar, while they're great movies and they're really good at doing like heartfelt scenes with pathos and all that stuff, the animation really is nothing to really scream home about.
Like, it's good, but the Pixar style is like its own thing.
It's very down to earth.
Because like Good Dinosaur is now. We're gonna go see that eventually too. But like Good Dinosaur, you can tell like from the trailers, is like this is animated and it's a Pixar movie. Yeah. To a T. And
if I saw the trailer not knowing that it was being made by Pixar, I would have been like, that looks like a Pixar movie, and I would be right.
Yeah.
And
DreamWorks has their own style too.
Yeah. But DreamWorks, the thing about DreamWorks is that at least they like have a person's artistic style drive most of a movie. Like Kung Fu Panda looks different than Madagascar, which looks different than
How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah, I can agree. Like at least they do that, and they're a little more. They got a little more leeway. Then you get a studio like Sony, which can do a really amazing, loose, fun, cartoony animation, like they did in the Cloudy movies.
Yeah.
And Lone Star Transylvania, but it's also very graphic. It's very, Blue Sky can do really broad, fluid, crazy, cartoony, extreme animation, but still give it realism and make it feel like organic, like it's a living, breathing creature. Like they put extra, it almost feels like they're putting an extra detail into all their animation to make sure that it really does come alive.
Yeah, the rendering, not like technologically, but like the general visual rendering of this whole movie, it looks like a giant piece of really, really cool artwork, like just in motion. Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, if you realistically render that stuff, it doesn't work. It doesn't work because you can't really. Because the thing about Charles Schultz is that he shaded his cartoons with black ink.
Yeah.
So when you see those characters with hyper realistic detail, or anything that's really detailed, it doesn't work. So the lighting is very specific and very graphic. The shading, the tone. If you shade it too much, it doesn't really look like Charlie Brown anymore. I mean, you look at any physical object or any toy. Like right now, I have a Snoopy phone right here.
That's right, yeah.
It doesn't, I mean, it kind of looks like Snoopy, but if you go from certain angles, it doesn't look like Snoopy.
It's more like the Macy's Day like parade.
Right. It looks more like
He's got a little bit of the wavy mouth.
If you look at it from one angle, it looks like one of the freaking Coca-Cola polar bears on Christmas time. Or he looks like he just doesn't look like Snoopy anymore. So in this movie, they went out of their way to try to retain almost the law of Schultz drawing.
Well, the weird law, like, I mean, I don't know if anybody knows this. You want to tell the story about when they switch from one angle to another, because that's pretty funny.
Oh, there's apparently I heard this was a true story. I'm not sure if it's 100% true or if it's but I'm going to paraphrase it. When they were working on one of the specials, one of the animators went up to Charles Schultz and went, "Hey, Sparky, I noticed a design flaw in Charlie Brown." He's like, "What do you mean? What design flaw?" He's like, "Well, the problem is with Charlie Brown is that when you look at him from the front, his nose is right between his eyes." "Yeah, so?" "But when he turns his head, his nose slides down like 3 inches down his face. His hair is the curl switches from being downwards to upwards when he turns. It defies logic." He's like, "No, it's not," and he didn't accept it. He's like, "Look, here's what you're gonna do. draw Charlie Brown from the front and draw Charlie Brown from the side. Now try to draw the in-between drawings.
Animate Charles.
Animate. And then he's like, all right, I'll do it. And then they walk away and they go have a smoke or a beer. And about an hour and a half later, he comes out and just looks at him, shaking his head like, you guys. Like, just like, okay, I get it. So, I mean, that's the great thing, though, is that these animators, even with something as meticulous, and the computer always wants to correct everything.
Yeah.
So, to go out of the way to break a character like that, to break a mold and have, like, okay, when Charlie Brown turns his head, his nose is gonna pop and slide down 2 inches down his face.
Yeah.
Or his hair is gonna do this. Or his body's gonna change shape.
And they still made all of those look, because they didn't change any of the details of those characters. But like I remember, I think when you see Sally from behind, you see like the bottom parts of like her hair or whatever, and like it looks like realistically rendered but it's not weird. Like it works.
Right.
Like, all of the
like,
designs.
It's so
work
strange because
well.
I remember being like, okay, Charlie Brown looks all right, because all we saw was Charlie Brown and Snoopy, and I'm like, how the hell are they going to do Peppermint Patty's hair? How are they going to do Pigpen with the smoke?
Pigpen worked too.
How are they going to do Linus? And they actually pulled it off
Yeah.
really well. And it was never a moment. Well, yeah, Charlie Brown does have a giant pubic hair coming out of his forehead, but there's never a moment I hear my cat meowing.
We have a cat in the background. Do you want to let Maya out and have her be part of the episode?
I could. Sorry, folks.
That's
Let's
okay.
see. But she's gonna come in here and she's gonna walk around. She's actually.
That's fine. She can have a good time with us. Mike just adopted a cat like earlier this week.
I got a cat 3 days ago. Her name is Maya. She's 10 weeks old today. Happy 10th week birthday, Maya.
She'll be probably 11th weeks.
Hi, Maya.
11 weeks by the time that this comes out.
She's on the other side of the room. She's just staring at me from
Kitty,
the
we're
bathroom.
talking about peanuts.
What's a peanut?
It's a bit. Can I eat that? No, Kitty, you can't eat
He
that.
doesn't even know what yeah. But anyway,
Story. We kind of talked a little bit about the story already, but like
the story really, it's just Charlie Brown, and it's because in the comics it's the little red-haired girl, right, Kitty?
yeah, real little.
Yeah, you heard that.
She likes the little red hair.
You heard right. The little red-haired girl is a new kid in class, and Charlie Brown wants to impress her.
Mm-hmm. As per the usual.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the driving force of the movie overall. Yeah, I think people know from
Charlie
the
Brown tries many ways to so-called impress the little red-haired girl,
who still doesn't have a name after all these years. After 60-something years, she's still the little.
It's funny
red-haired
because
girl.
if you look at there's a point where you see a roster.
Come on, Kitty. Here, Maya. Join the review. Have a good time.
You just want to be annoying, don't you?
Yeah. She just wants to take over the whole
She
episode.
hasn't been in this room.
Welcome to Kitty Kirblog. She's cute. She's so tiny.
Yeah, she's about the size of a small loaf of bread. If you look, there's a roster of students in the class, and you could see their last names and stuff. So like,
That's right. Yeah.
Linus and Lucy Van Pelt. And then you see Peppermint Patty, and you see her name is Patricia. I forget the last name.
I think she does have like a canon full name.
Yeah.
If I'm remembering right. Well, all of the major characters do have full first and last names, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, then I think there's already been stuff floating around. I think in one of them there's still because there's a part where you see all the names on the class on a piece of paper on the wall, and I think that there's some that are just the first name, and then there's some that are there's just a bunch of numbers for one of them listed in there, and it was just
there's a character who went by a very specific number. It was like a 6-digit number. Right?
I don't even know what to do with that. Yeah, I mean the story overall, it's simple, it's straightforward, it's fun, it captures again that sort of pessimism but it still manages to be uplifting and cool.
Yeah, and the thing I like about it is that I actually prefer movies that are more down to earth and almost slice of life.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and I've said this a million times before, sometimes it's more interesting or just as interesting. It's more interesting if not.
You can do it. Take two.
It's just as interesting, if not more so, to watch just how someone lives their life than just seeing them going to a 3-act climax, all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
So and all that rigor.
Well, because
going on a journey. Because I thought oh my god, the Peanuts, what's going to happen? They're like, oh no, we have to find The magical kite-eating
Snoopy
tree.
ran away from home, and we have to find him. And oh god!
Oh wait, we already did that.
Oh, did they? Was that Snoopy comes?
Snoopy comes
home.
home.
Oh, okay.
Snoopy just leaves home.
Oh, he just goes out because he's like, fuck it, whatever.
No, well, there's a whole reason why he leaves home.
I haven't. It's been a long time since I've seen it. But on that same note, though, like you know what? It reminds me of. I don't think I've ever said this on a Kirblog before. I have this thing about Pixar movies where like the Pixar movies generally have a very heartwarming, heartfelt story, but there's also some sort of element of each Pixar movie that's like cool that they do all like the marketing, the toys, and all that stuff off of. Like Toy Story, it was about Woody, but all the like cool factor stuff like outside of the scope of the movie itself was the Buzz Lightyear stuff.
Right.
And the same thing with like I don't know, like Cars, it just kind of is that all the way through, even though like the movie had a real story to it, etc. Yeah. With this one, I feel like the more action-packed, like whoa, like spectacle kind of side of it is the fantasy that Snoopy is imagining of the story that he's writing, because it's got the dog fights and the action and all the crazy shit going on and everything. Maya is very close to the microphone by this point. She's having a grand old time climbing up Mount Michael.
Hi, kitty.
Yeah, he's a cat. Did you know that you're a cat, Maya? Did you realize that? She's not quite ready to be picked up yet. She's still getting used to that.
Gonna pet her, just to make sure that she knows him.
Is there a cat character in Charlie Brown?
Well, there was the cat next door that Snoopy always yelled at, and then the cat was like a monster. And there was one time where it just swiped and took out half of Snoopy's house.
Was that one of the movies, or was that in the comics?
It's in the comics, and there used to be the Charlie Brown and Snoopy show, which was one of the others, because that was an actual TV show with small little vignettes from the comics, animated. Yeah. And they did a whole thing about the cat next door. Okay. So if you find it on YouTube, I assume. Right?
Yeah.
I know, I mentioned the
I love those.
Where'd you go?
She's right there in front of your face. There you go. The cat has been grabbed. She's been captured. Okay, so now, later point. So, yeah, we want this movie to make bank, which is why you should go see it.
Go see the movie. Go see it twice. Bring your friends. Bring your family.
Make it nice.
Bring one of those pillows that have.
Why do you want this movie to do so well?
Because I would think that that some executives at movie studios are going to be like, oh look at this movie. Look how much money it's made. Let's why don't we try making decent animated movies, like decent adaptations
of comics.
Like now I've already heard like. This honestly, and I've said I've said this on social media, and I'm saying it here for you guys now. This movie is probably since probably one of the original Peanuts movies, because the original Peanuts movies were written by Charles Schultz.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
He wrote I didn't know that. And so they were original stories he came up with specifically for the animation then.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
that's cool.
He wrote them. And hi.
She's climbing
she
up
likes
on
you.
Yay! I have a way with animals.
The viewers are going to be like, why do they keep stopping talking to acknowledge?
Well, now I'm going to have to see, because I'm going to draw me as Snoopy. I'm going to draw you as Charlie Brown. So I'm going to have to draw her as the cat from that thing. So I'm going to have to look up a picture.
Because you never see the cat.
Oh, damn it. Well, then I'll just draw the window that Snoopy sees it out of.
Yeah.
Oh, hi. I know. You weren't in the movie. Well, they should do the sequel about you. Because on that note.
Yeah. You know, this is probably the greatest comic book or comic strip adaptation movie ever done.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, not that Garfield is much competition.
Yeah. But I mean, I already know that they're doing a new Smurfs movie. Sony's doing a new Smurfs movie, but they're like completely retconning.
Yeah, the live action ones, of course.
You are so vocal today.
She's going to be a voice actress when she grows up.
You have been more vocal now than you've been in the last 3 days I've had you. I love you, Kate.
She wants the attention.
She wants it.
I was thinking about this shortly after, and then she just goes away, of course.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this shortly after we went to go see it. I actually don't think that I would mind if they made sequels.
Well, the thing about a sequel to the Peanuts movie is that it wouldn't be technically a true sequel. It would be just another story with Charlie Brown.
Sure, yeah.
Which would be fine. I would totally be up for that. But I don't know if they would call it the Peanuts movie 2.
Yeah, I mean, because they could just have it be like, excuse me, Morty, they could just do it with I've just been infected now, you can say.
They can do.
They can pick something else from the comic, like they can maybe even kind of use one of the things from the old series and all movies. It's like kind of
they could call it like it's prepubescent baldness Charlie Brown. Like it could pertain the Charlie Brown name, because it's always like
It's something. Charlie
I
Brown.
gotta tell you a story.
Okay.
Me and Andrew a few weeks ago, because we went out to lunch before doing, or it was it was before we recorded one of our shows.
Yeah.
Our podcasts, and we were sitting down and we brought up the Peanuts movie. He's like, "Oh, the Peanuts movie only comes out in 2 months. I can't wait to see it." He goes, "Yeah." And I said, I remember one day I was working on BoJack, and me and my friend Aaron Long, we were working one day, and for about 2 hours, we were just coming up with the worst, just fake titles for Peanut specials.
Were you tweeting some of them?
Yeah, I tweeted a bunch of them. Remember those?
I remember those.
What was one of them? My favorite one was probably "Is Pepsi okay, Charlie Brown?" Does this rag smell like chloroform, Charlie Brown?
Jesus Christ. What's wrong with you?
It's the Korean War, Charlie Brown.
These are jokes, ladies and gentlemen. You're a naughty kitty, Charlie Brown.
I think some of them we kind of went in weird territory.
You're a dirty little girl, Charlie Brown.
You're a dirty Charlie Brown.
Yes, I just did that, except I put dirty little girl.
It's euthanasia, Charlie Brown. Like, anything would be fine. Like, I think the one that kind of was like not the straw that broke the camel's back, where it's like, okay, I think we better stop before we move ahead. I think that's our word, Charlie Brown.
Oh my God!
Which I think
Jesus Christ Almighty,
which would have been very, very, very wrong. But we were laughing. I think one of them was your bed is wet, Charlie Brown. How do you put a shirt on, Charlie Brown?
The wet one just makes me think of like that could actually have been one of the specials, and it's like, don't worry, kids. Sometimes people wet the bed. It's all right.
Right.
Like an actual thing from back then.
Yeah, it's back to diapers, Charlie Brown.
Oh my God Almighty!
It would have been really, really funny if they just. I mean, the worst one. I remember I found out, who was it? I think it was. Oh, was it Andrew?
Let's pretend it was Andrew.
I think it was Andrew, because he said that he didn't really. I don't think it was Andrew. Someone said that they didn't really have a lot of Peanut specials on as a kid, like on video. All they had was the one "Why Charlie Brown Why," and I'm like, you had that one?
Which one was that?
That's the cancer one.
Oh my God!
And I'm like, that's the only Peanut special you had was the cancer episode.
Jesus Christ! That was a real thing.
It was a real one. It was Linus makes a friend, and that friend has cancer. Where are you now? Now that you're.
Where are you now, Charlie Brown?
What
cat hiding in my room.
What have we learned, Charlie Brown? Life is short, Charlie Brown. Like, but anyway, moving on.
Why Charlie Brown? Why?
It's
on
amazing. YouTube.
YouTube.
There's a whole scene when Linus freaks the hell out and yells at a person for making fun of a girl with cancer.
Well,
there's a character that literally pulls off this girl's hat because she's wearing a hat because she had chemo and she lost her hair, and he laughs at her for being bald, and she's crying. And Linus goes up and pretty much goes, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
Yeah, he says the F word and everything.
Yeah, he's fucking.
Well, I need to go look that up now.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Are any of the Peanut specials on like Netflix or anything?
I have no idea. I doubt it.
I'm gonna go find out later.
Well, I'm sure there's a bunch of them online somewhere.
Probably. Yeah, she wants.
Yes,
she wants to see them
yeah,
online.
I know. I won't name any torrent sites. I know.
She's anti-piracy. She's very progressive like that.
She's anti.
But yeah, no. I you know what? I hope it does well. I really wanted to. You know what? Maybe we'll all go see it again at some point. I wouldn't mind.
I wouldn't mind seeing it again. I want to give my money to.
Shut up and take my money.
Shut up and take my money.
But I also no. I like not just like I definitely want to see more movies like this. But even just to be more specific, I think I really would be cool with if they did more Peanuts movies and just did other stories with these characters, because like these versions of them that they have right now are. I mean, well, they're not like they're.
Yeah, the only problem is that every 2 movies they're just gonna have to replace the entire cast.
Yeah, but I mean, they always have.
That's true.
So
that casting director's gonna have to work pretty hard.
Well, if they get
an award, another
then.
Peanuts movie. But Sally, Peppermint Patty, Marcy, Charlie Brown, Linus, Lucy, Schroeder, Patty, and
all of
Shermie
them
are now too old.
Yes, they all have to be recast.
What about so and so? They don't really get much screen time anyway. Franklin, who cares?
Oh God. Well,
are we going to complain that Violet doesn't have a voice in this movie? Great, super.
Hey man, somebody top comments be like, "Oh, Violet is my favorite character." I found that very particularly insulting.
Oh, another thing I really loved about the movie, I just realized.
Sure.
I love how they used the Charlie Brown Christmas dances.
Yes.
In the dance scene.
Yes.
But then they obviously had more kids than they had in the special.
Yeah.
So they were probably like, I just imagine there was I don't know if this is true, but I hope it's true. I hope there was like a contest at the studio where it's like, okay, in the original special, there's only 5 or 6 people dancing.
Yeah. All of which have been imitated by the cast of A Pup Named Scooby-Doo.
Now there's like 15 kids in this movie.
Yeah.
But we don't have dances for all of them. You guys have to come up with some new Charlie Brown dances.
And the ones that they came up with.
There was one that I think Andrew has it's great going to the movies with Andrew. One, because he's just a really good, decent audience member who doesn't take out his freaking cell phone.
Yeah.
Like that one woman in the theater just let her kid roam around.
Oh, yeah. We had one of those.
I felt so bad for Mike. Our friend Mike was sitting right in front of me, and right in front of him was a woman who just brought in her daughter. Or her little
While
girl.
she was on her phone the entire time.
She was on her phone, and the thing is, we saw the movie in 3D, which also the movie looks great. The movie looks great in 3D.
Yes, fully
It actually
worth seeing
it's worth seeing it.
that way.
Usually with 3D, after like 20 minutes, you're like, I'm used to this now. In the movie, it felt like you were in an actual like diorama.
Yeah,
it was
sure.
really, really cool. So, this and when you if you're in the theater, you're wearing these glasses. When this woman was shining she was looking like at Facebook, just killing time.
Yeah.
At 10 o'clock at night, it was a 10:10 showing, which means that it was probably 20 minutes of previews, and the movie started at 10:30. We didn't get out of the movie till about close to midnight.
Yeah, I think so.
So we were there in the theater, and this bright light coming from the screen detracts. It almost makes a glare on your glasses, so it makes it really, really hard to see.
Yeah.
So it was kind of annoying. That was probably the one thing I really didn't like about going to see that movie. It was just this woman who obviously just didn't care, and her kid was just roaming around, climbing on
screaming
seats,
for no reason. That's per the usual.
Because she was probably like 3 years old or 4, and it was just absolutely that was pretty sucky. But I forget what were I talking about. I think it was
Andrew.
Andrew.
Yeah.
The great thing about Andrew is that he has such an infectious laugh. That there was a moment where we were watching these dances, and you could tell that they were like, we got to show people these dances. So you show the wide of the auditorium where there's this dance.
Yeah. Then
you zoom in on some of the dancers, and you see like the classic Charlie Brown dances with a woman waving her hands and the guy walking in place and all that stuff.
Yeah, and like shifting his head from
side to side. And then there was this guy who was like doing this weird, like he was like
hunching over.
He was like doing like a crab spider walk or something. It was really weird. And I just hear Andrew he just says like ha 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 ha, like really this really great laugh. And he's just like it's so hearty and so like genuine that you can't help but be like, hi kitty.
She's climbing. She's having a good time. There's a few moments like that this movie that really are just like unexpectedly burst out loud funny.
There's great visual jokes, great visual references, great lines of dialogue.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's great.
I mean, just like in our actual me and Andrew's podcast, it just is an hour of us just praising this movie and not really talking about it. I wish Andrew was here right now because I feel bad that he couldn't chime in again.
Well, he's a piece of shit.
I mean,
I'm just kidding. I love you, Andrew.
Yeah. Well, here's what we do. We'll do, say, I don't know, another movie. We'll do The Good Dinosaur.
Sure.
Me and him will review The Good Dinosaur, and then you could just have Andrew on, and you guys can just talk about that.
Or I don't know, maybe I'll join you guys. I did an episode with them a while ago where you were out of town for a while.
Oh,
yeah. And I did Titan AE with Andrew, so that was I think that was like the 3rd episode.
That was one. I was so glad that you did it because I remember being away, and then the joke was that I was only there for 1 week, and I leave for 1 week, 2 weeks, and he's already replaced me with 2 other people.
And Rob Isaac did
the Powerpuff Girls movie, which was a really great episode, and you guys did a really great episode. I love that you called the Jareen Garofalo character. Oh, what are you doing? You're in my marker box. Come on. How did you get in there?
Maya is the star of this Kirblog, clearly.
But you called it an angaroo.
Angaroo. Oh yeah.
Hi, kitty.
I think that one is up on YouTube, so definitely go watch.
No, it's going to be up on YouTube probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks. But if you go online to Animated Anarchy Cast on Facebook or check iTunes, it's on iTunes.
Give us Podbean is
Podbean or Stitcher. They're all there.
I know. I get it. We're almost done.
There's going to be a lot of people who hate cats after this show. They're like, So that episode was great, except for the fact that you just keep hearing.
Yeah. Well, sorry guys, but if you've made it this far, clearly you don't care. So thank God.
Yeah.
Anyway, I will have a link to all that stuff. So, and do you want to plug your like Twitter?
On Twitter, I'm at a guy who draws.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew is AWD Twit, but
yes.
Sadly, I hope he gets it resolved. Apparently, his Twitter was hacked this week.
I think it's been fixed by now.
Okay, I hope so because that's a bummer. Because the thing about customer support for any website,
most of them,
it does not work. It leads you right back to where you start. It's really bad. So I hope everything works out. But his Twitter is AWD Twit. Follow us on Facebook. That's probably the most direct way to contact us.
And your Tumblr is michaeljruocco.tumblr?
Yeah, michaeljruocco.tumblr.com. And I also run the Animation Smears Tumblr.
Yes, which you have not updated in ages by this point.
Because I've just lost all
control.
I'm not control. There's more important things in my life than going in and trying to queue through 2,800.
Yes. Oh, I should hook you up with some Dragon Ball Super pictures because there's lots of great in between. Oh no, that's like the in between one. Whatever. Either way.
I'm waiting for the Peanuts movie to come out on DVD, so that I'll just post a bunch of really
amazing smears.
And mostly multiples. Another thing too is that I don't mean to plug 15 million things.
I don't care.
I worked on the show Wabbit, which is airing on Cartoon Network and Boomerang.
Yes.
It airs. I believe they changed the dates around. I think it's Thursdays at 2 p.m. But if you have the Cartoon Network app on your iPad or your phone, you can watch them on there. You can watch them and you can catch them. And you can catch them at different times of the day on Cartoon Network. I boarded about 12 episodes this season, so make sure to check those out.
You can look his episodes up on YouTube. It also features, as I found out a little while ago, Matt Mercer is the voice of the Bigfoot character. Yeah. So those of you who are...
pretty much, and my opinion of him is that he's the Canadian Gossamer.
Yeah.
That he's just like Gossamer's weird north of the border cousin.
Yeah.
And he's just, ow, you have claws in your leg.
She's gonna be a mountain climbing voice actor cat. Yes, go check that out. I think you can also watch them on the Cartoon Network website. I think they've got a few episodes up on there as well.
Yeah.
That's going to wrap us up. So in the comments below, if you have seen the Peanuts movie, please leave any thoughts and recommendations about it. Maybe don't get too spoilerific if anybody happens to come across anything they don't want to see. And also, if you have not seen it yet, share any thoughts or memories or anything like that about the Peanuts in general. Like, did you grow up with any particular favorite specials or movies? Did you read the comics, anything like that? And otherwise, if you have not gone to see the Peanuts movie, please go see it. We highly, highly recommend it, and you will. I think that you will greatly enjoy it. So, that's it, Michael. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming over to my house
and invading your space and playing with your cat.
Maya now loves you.
But Maya, but Maya. And Maya, thank you for joining us and being all noisy.
Say hello. Say goodbye.
She's got to jump on the floor.
Now you don't. Now you don't talk.
Yep.
Now that you're on my lap, and we're saying goodbye.
Put me on the spot.
Fine. Let me do this. If I squeeze your tail, no, I'm not gonna squeeze your tail.
Don't do that.
I love
animal abuse, filing. How dare you? I'm gonna write a Tumblr essay about you.
What's at the door? Who is it? PETA. Oops. All right. Cool. Well, thanks for coming by. This was fun.
Good night, Flux.
Good night.